Welcome back for the sixth of our sessions of the Words to the Cross. 7 words to the cross, words that were expressed by people in the day of Jesus as he hung on the cross, dying for you and for me. Words to the cross that we might think of ourselves as well. Well, this is week number 6, and it's the last week for many of our small groups, yet there's still another session left. So I would encourage you to not only do session 6 today, but if this is the last meeting of your small group, then go ahead and at least play the video that will come next for the 7th week or Holy Week. Well, we are focusing today on the courageous word. The courageous word. So here's just a little reminder of the setting. These are some actual pictures today from the Holy Land, and this is at the Church of the Holy Sepulchre. There you can see the backside of a pilgrim, but what is going on there is a place on Calvary, the place of the skull, Calvary, where Jesus was crucified. There is a place in the Church of the Holy Sepulchre where people can kneel down and touch the rock on which Jesus may likely have been crucified, the place of the skull. It is a touching experience to be there, and we can see how the rocks of the skull are there. Yes, you can see the rock of Calvary. And just imagine, even if you can't journey to Jerusalem, I hope you can someday with me, but if you can't journey to Jerusalem, imagine this rocky area of the hills of Judea up in Jerusalem, where Jesus is crucified. Well, this word of courage, the courageous word that we look at today, has to do with a certain man called Joseph of Arimathea. And Joseph was, we don't know a lot about him, but he was probably a business person and a very religious man that was a silent, perhaps, follower of Jesus, a secret follower of Jesus, or someone that came to realize who he was as Jesus' life came to an end. Joseph of Arimathea then stepped up when Jesus had died and offered his own tomb for Jesus to be buried in. Now, maybe some of you might think, well, here is a late word, if there ever was one, stepping forward in faith after someone had died, and yet, it was a courageous word. Joseph of Arimathea stepping out to allow Jesus to be buried in his own tomb, it meant that people would know now that he was a follower. They would know who he was. It's a courageous word because the Romans could have said no. The Romans could have castigated poor Joseph of Arimathea. The Romans could have even sentenced him to punishment of some type. So it was a courageous word. It was also a courageous word because people built their tombs, literally carved them out of caves into the ground, or into the side of a hill. They carved them out, preparing the tomb for their own family. And so Joseph was offering his own family's tomb. Well, there is an interesting site over at the Church of the Holy Sepulchre, and that site is what you're looking at now. There are people surrounding and kneeling at a stone. This stone, at least from a symbolic standpoint, is venerated as the place where Jesus was laid while his body was being prepared for burial. And so it's a very significant stone that is honored by so many folks. And at that stone there is a picture, and the picture, and this is one that I took not too long ago in the Church of the Holy Sepulchre. It shows Jesus being prepared for burial, and we believe that over on the right is Joseph of Arimathea, the one that has given up his tomb for him. Well, it took courage. And the living out of our faith can take courage. It can take some simple courage. Courage simply to trust in God day by day, no matter what happens in our life, to say, I will be a follower. Not all of us are called to take courage and confront the authorities or do something that's particularly courageous or spectacular, though we may be called to do so. I remember early in my ministry where there was a unique situation. There was a boy that was on the track team that I was coaching down in Mineral Point in about 1981, and this boy had left track practice early one day, and he went home and he murdered his brother and his parents. And of course, that was one of the first of the mass kind of killings in America that was very public. And so I didn't know what to do. I'm his coach, I'm his pastor. It took a lot of courage for me to decide I needed to go visit that boy in jail. And so we had a conversation, and I had a prayer. But the courage ended there because I did not go back. I wonder, should I have gone back? I wasn't his pastor, but who was caring for him? The courageous word. The courageous word then reminds us of Jesus giving up his life for us. And how might we give of our lives for him? Like I said, it might not be something real spectacular. We may not be called to be martyred for Christ, but we are called to give our own courageous word. I know sometimes I resemble the lion and the Wizard of Oz who is seeking courage, and there's times where I don't have the boldness, perhaps, to stand for the Lord like I would wish. But yet, we are called to courageous living, to live for Christ knowing that he died for us, to live for Christ knowing that there is abundant life and hope and a future in that living. I pray that your discussion is fruitful this evening as you contemplate the courageous word.